Dow Jones was up earlier today, 280 points, yet it closed down in the red, negative 280 points. These markets do not like that they only got a 25 basis rate cut by the Fed yesterday, and they also do not like this trade war with China. Things are going to get much, much worse. It's Thursday, August 1st, 2019. I want to get right into it today. So much happening as we're starting to see some volatility picking back up into these markets. And I believe that things are going to start intensifying through the end of summer here, heading into the fall. I read an article on stevequayle.com today. It was with Egan von Greers. This is the gentleman who started Matterhorn Asset Management back in 1999. I believe he is one of the most brilliant people in regards to metals and world events regarding the economy, the world global economy. And I believe what he is saying in this article is spot on. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think, but I believe Egan is spot on. He says in the article, the messages from the ECB and the Fed couldn't be more clear. They are seeing more major problems in the financial and in the world economy, and they will do whatever it takes to save the system, but they will fail. I believe that 100%. We are going to witness major crashes in many global stock markets. Most people are now prepared for this. There will be massive panic and despair. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit through this article. People continue to ignore the warning signs. They're living in bubbles. People are more concerned about the kind of car that they're driving. They're more concerned about the watch that they're wearing. And they care more about these material things than they do their future. These are the same people who go on Facebook and post photos of their $20 cocktail at Mastro's, and we're all supposed to be impressed because they bought a $20 cocktail with their credit card, getting deeper and deeper into debt to impress people that they don't even know on Facebook. These are the idiots that are ignoring these major warning signs. This is the herd. These are the sheeple. They're not concerned that the U.S. stock market today is more overvalued than it was in 1987, 1999, or 2006. These people have no fear. They're completely oblivious to anything that is going on outside of their world. When these markets collapse, no one is going to care about what kind of car you drive, what kind of watch that you're wearing. People are going to worry about losing their house. They're going to worry about food and water, feeding their kids. They're going to be in survival mode. They're going to be worried about just surviving and getting out of debt, worried about the pension now that they have that is now collapsed. They're going to worry about the violence in the streets of America. They're going to worry when there is no bid for their paper, such as their stocks, their bonds, their derivatives. There will be no buyers for paper. I mean, we really got to think. We got to get into survival mode now. We've got to think about survival. This is not the time to be going out, gambling in the stock market, buying cars to impress people we don't even know, to buy a $10,000 or $20,000 watch. I mean, just think right now how you can protect yourself, ensure your future right now by buying hard assets, not living for today, but preparing for tomorrow. Let's talk about another reason why everybody better wake up and get prepared. And that reason is Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is going from bad to worse. Their bad loans are sufficient to collapse the bank, and their derivative portfolio will bankrupt Germany and the ECB. Deutsche Bank has 45 trillion euros in derivatives. This is 13 times German GDP. Deutsche Bank, German banks, Italian banks, French banks, Spanish banks, and Greek banks, many are already bankrupt. ECB will print massive amounts before they let this fall. But again, they will fail. Global debt is now expanding to $250 trillion. You think you shouldn't be getting prepared? You think you shouldn't be concerned with what's going on across the globe right now? The two biggest bank chiefs, Powell and Lagarde, are going to be the biggest money printers in history. And we're going to witness this. This is going to be cataclysmic. It's going to be biblical. It's going to be historical. We're going to watch this. We're going to watch all this go down. The money they print will be fake. It will have zero value. This will create hyperinflation, which will implode the global financial system. This is where it's all going, without a doubt. The only thing they can do at this point now is lower rates as they're doing and print money, and it's not going to work. The biggest stock markets in the world have peaked. The US stock market is the last man standing. I don't believe we have much time left. I believe we are getting close to our peak before this bubble bursts. And as I said earlier, it's not too late to prepare, but you are losing time. You are running out of time. I believe every day we're getting much, much closer to this collapse. Right? Most people believe that since they're not in the stock market, they're not going to lose. But here's a newsflash. You are going to lose. Everybody is going to lose. And this is why you got to get in the mindset of surviving. You got to be in survival mode because you want to keep the losses to a minimum and even have the ability to prosper. Even if you don't own stocks or bonds, you will lose value on your house, your pension, your job. You'll lose money you have in the bank, either through debasement of the currency or bail-ins or bankruptcy of the bank. Now, I know a lot of people just can't think outside of the box here, but we're going to witness this. Banks are going down, and many of them should have went down in 2008, and they were propped up. This time around, it's not going to happen. They're going down. I believe everybody out there needs to prepare. And one of the main things to do is get your debt paid off, get your debts paid down as much as you can, and buy hard, tangible assets. Gold and silver. We're watching them creeping back up yet again today. We're looking at people running into bonds at 1.8%. I mean, there's no doubt the place to be are the two most undervalued assets in the entire world, gold and silver. Pick a bond or pick gold or silver. Gold and silver all day. I'm not a financial advisor or a planner. I'm just telling you how I think, and I'm telling you what I'm doing. Reading everything I read today, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, Steve Quayle, Zero Hedge, an array of articles I was reading today, it is getting more and more concerning. These markets didn't like the rate cut. It wasn't enough. And certainly we are going to heat things up with this trade war with China. They're digging in now. They're going to try and wait this president out. And this president is taking it to the next level. And so this is going to have a critical effect on retail, on farming, on transportation, shipping, you name it. But I want to go over this article right now. 10-year Treasury yields plunge below 2%. I think they were at 1.8% today. And it just reminds me that these trolls that used to come in and saying, well, you need to hold off and wait till silver gets to $8 before you buy it. Gold's going to 800. That's when you want to buy. I truly believe this isn't going to happen. And of course, these trolls have all disappeared. We're looking at 10-year Treasury yields at 1.8%. I believe it was 1.89%. You're losing money. Without a doubt, the place to be right now is gold and silver. And China knows it. The central banks know it. The wealthy know it. And you know it. Here's another article on Zero Hedge. The situation is crazy. U.S. manufacturing PMI plunges to 10-year low. I mean, this is not good news. Here's another one, and I'm reading these right off of Zero Hedge. You can Google this today. And of course, always make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you're doing your homework. U.S. farmer crisis. China's U.S. soybean purchases plunge to 2004 lows. On top of that, all the bad weather. In the Midwest, we're seeing food shortages now with canned foods. A lot of stores posting signs that they're out, that they have no canned vegetables in the stores. They're running short. Supplies is running behind. So we are starting to see the food shortage that is going to begin to be a little bit more serious as we roll into this month and next month, as we're witnessing prices increasing on vegetables. This is a scary one here. Another freight company, Terrell Transportation of Livermore, California, shut its doors July 30th. Been in business 25 years. They had 30 trucks, 36 drivers, 12 owner-operators. It's the seventh freight company to shut down this year, 2019. This is not the sign of a booming economy. Here's another one. Zero Hedge. Trucker bust begins as oversupply plagues freight industry. Jack Atkins, a transportation analyst with Stephens Inc. We are 3 months into a freight recession. There are too many trucks and not enough freight. And this trade war that we're in is going to affect us even more. Here's another one on Bloomberg. Sears employees. Now, this is one you really got to think about. This was on Bloomberg. Sears employees' life insurance payments could amount to just $135 per person. This is on Bloomberg today. Benefits that once would have been worth as much as tens of thousands of dollars have been priced at just $135 as Sears plans to terminate life insurance of people who worked decades for them. This is part of their bankruptcy. Think about what is going to happen to people's pensions here in America. It's going to be the same thing. These pensions are going to go broke. They're going to go bankrupt. And they're going to just say, look, we owe you $2.5 million in your pension. And, here's $5,000. Good luck. This is how quick things can happen. Do you think the people, 10 or 20 years ago that were working at Sears thought this would ever happen? Yet people today think that their pensions are untouchable. They think that their pensions are going to be there for them. And I hate to say this, but I live in the real world and I'm a realist. Many pensions in America are not going to be here in 10 years. Mathematically, it's just not going to happen. And this is why I'm so adamant making these videos of why you can't rely on a financial institution. You shouldn't rely on Sears. You shouldn't rely on that company you're working for. You can't rely on that pension. You're going to have to rely on yourself. And this is why it's so important to be building up that emergency fund with hard assets right now while they're on sale, while your dollar still has some purchasing power. Take a good look around at what's happening. And I can't, stress enough and remind people enough about how many homeless people I'm seeing walking around all over my county, all over my city, all over Los Angeles. I was watching some videos today, again, with the people down in Skid Row and the homeless epidemic here in California, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, the rat epidemic now that we have in Los Angeles County. So many parts of America are starting to look like a third world. And we are now just at the beginning of this recession. Nobody knows how deep and how long this recession is going to last. But from everything that I can see and from what I'm analyzing with the amount of debt that's out there, the amount of overvaluation of assets, this recession quite possibly could be our second depression here in America. I'm going to leave it right there today. I hope everybody's having a really good day. And I hope that this gives you something to think about. I don't believe that we're going to see silver going to $8 or gold going to 800. I believe we're going to see stocks and bonds fall to the basement. But I don't believe we're going to see metal do that. I believe now is the time to buy at these very, very low prices and protect yourself. And of course, top off all preps. Make sure that you are prepared to survive in your environment. And most of all, make sure you have security and make sure you're walking close to God. Listen, this isn't to scare anybody. I don't believe this is the end of the world. I believe many people are going to prosper and really do well during this depression. I don't believe this is the end of the world by any means. So these people out there that, act like it's going to be the end of the world. No, it's not. And this is why I stress the importance of being prepared to survive it, because you want to have real money coming out of this recession or depression. You want to be set up to prosper, because it's not going to be the end of the world. It's going to be the beginning of something very new. We could witness a reset, whatever it may be. When the dust settles and the collapse is over, you want to be prepared to prosper and to survive. And the only way to do that is by holding real money. So I'm going to leave it there. Have an incredible day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk very soon.